Hello everyone, welcome to profitrealestate.com.au. My name is Asha Pereira. I was an accountant, now I'm a developer builder. I'm with the expert developer builder here, who's my mentor as well, John Williams, and I welcome John Williams. Hello, John.
Hi, Asha. Thanks for having me on, and thanks for being on with us. Hope we can give you some really good value with this video.
Excellent, excellent. So, see, today we're going to expand a little bit more further in how to make money from property. So that's what's been we've been discussing in the previous videos and everything. So today we're going to add a little bit more content. So in a scenario where there are two sites together, so you could speak to your neighbor, you could speak to the other vendor, if there's a possibility. So I'm going to ask John these questions where in a scenario where you could match up one or two sites or three sites together and then do a large development. So John, let's come back to that point. So
Sure.
how would we do that? Like, in a scenario, because we've spoken in one of our previous videos in regards to building 2 units.
Correct.
And then even 4 or 5 units at one site. So
Yeah.
imagine there are 2 empty land lots, or even there's an existing land lot next door. So how could you work on something like that?
So basically, if an average site is, say, 650 square meters, you can only get 2 on the site. But if you've got a neighbor or a vacant site adjacent, then certainly you can, and you've got an option on the site, then you can join the 2 sites together. And quite often you can get an extra unit on the site. So basically, you're getting a profit of a unit. Instead of just 4, you got 5.
Excellent. So yeah, in a scenario where there's a suburb where the average size lots are, let's say, 600 to 650, and then the minimum size of which is a subdivided lot is 300 in each. So you could put 2 in one site, right? But in a scenario where you can find two sites together, so
Correct.
which becomes, let's say, 1200 or 1300.
Yeah.
Where the council would allow to build 5 units, is that right?
Certainly, absolutely, yeah.
And are you going to have like common driveway, or how
Yeah,
do
the
we do
driveway
that?
goes down the middle, and the first front two units split either way, and the one at the back you just go straight into the garage. But as a build-up from that, if you do a slight cluster, you might actually be able to get a duplex at the back, right at the back of the block. So you've got 2 on the left, 2 on the right, and maybe 2 at the back with a common party wall. So you've got 6 on the side.
Excellent.
Yeah. So
Excellent.
getting up from there, if the site's just a little bit bigger, you may be able to squeeze 3 on the left, 3 on the right, and 3 on the back, which is like a cluster, side by side sort of thing with double story with a garage underneath. And quite often, depending on the locality, you might even go 3-story. So it's just a case by case what benefit you can extract from each site. And a good town planner, knowing the locality, can work out every angle for you.
Excellent. So basically, you could maximize your profit. So in a scenario where there are 2 developers who's actually building in site number A and site number B, together they're just building 2 units in each. So if you guys can come together, there's definitely the possibility of doing something. So
Absolutely.
And so I believe the town planner is the key person here where they could help out. Is that right?
A knowledgeable town planner is a big asset to you.
Yes. So how could somebody find a knowledgeable town planner like that?
Well, by asking,
Yeah.
maybe meet 3 or 4 town planners and see whether they're familiar with the area. Talk to the council and see whether they're going to help you and tell you who are the town planners normally presenting applications to that particular council. The council might have a list. Quite often there's a list available online that you can actually visit and find. So all these things are there.
Excellent. So excellent, John. So shall we go into a scenario? Shall we go into a screen and share the knowledge?
Absolutely. Look, we'd love to do that at the end of this video, but just one more little point before we start to look at other things here is that say you've acquired a site and you could put 2 on your site. Say you don't want to even knock down the front one, you're just going to build one in the backyard. You might find a neighbor that is approachable and say, hey, you've got a big backyard. Can I buy your backyard? And he says, all right, look, you can, for this dollar figure, you can have my backyard. So basically you can acquire his backyard. So you build what they call a battle axe development. So you've got 2 at the back, 1 at the back of your site and 1 at the back of his site. So basically, you can leverage what's there, but you have to find a neighbor that is approachable and willing to do the deal with you.
Brilliant work. There certainly are many out there. So just a matter of looking and speaking to people. Because if you don't ask, as John said, how to find a town planner, just ask, right? So that's the same thing applies. I mean, if it is a good neighbor, you can certainly ask. I mean, without asking someone, they might just be wondering as well, and you could be wondering as well. So the important part is asking. So let's go into a screen and let's come back afterwards. We'll show you some strategies, basically how you could work on two sites together, or like where you could build, as John said, 4 units, 5 units, 6 units in these kind of scenarios. I'll see you soon.
Here to discuss in further detail all the different configurations you get onto a single site and onto adjacent sites that are joined together to affect more buildings on the same developments. So here we have a single unit site of say 650 square meters, on which we can get 2 dwellings. One driveway can service both dwellings, or we can have 2 driveways, one for each dwelling.
So in this scenario, John, can we sort of have do we need to have a separate parking, like garage as well, for the back one, or how does it work?
Yeah, there'll be a separate garage for the back one and one for the front. So, there's all sorts of configurations that you can come up with. It just works what the council wants to see. Quite often councils don't want to be seeing garages in level with the house, so they prefer garages at the back. So the house number 1 could actually have the garage at the back, and that could be a tandem garage with the house number 2 as well. So it just depends on what council wants.
Sure.
And your town planner is the best one to advise you.
Excellent. Because I know from my personal experience that most of these council I'm working in the southeast of Melbourne requires about 3.5 meters space between the wall and the house. So for the back house entrance, for the driveway, isn't that right?
Well, that is true. That's absolutely true. Yes.
Excellent. Okay, let's move on to another project. So can you explain this scenario?
So it's the same size site. It's just that there's a better layout here to achieve 3 dwellings. So the front dwelling is an independent standalone townhouse, and the 2 at the back are a cluster. They just join together with a common fire-rated party wall. So this is quite a cost-efficient way of getting 3 onto the site, subject, of course, to your town planning regulations, and your town planner again can advise you.
Okay. See, the house number 1, if it is a single story unit, what could you do? Could you make it a double story, or you just leave it as a single story?
You've got an option of going double story there. The ones at the back, you can have the front one as a double story, but quite often with the new regulations that have kicked in since last year, which is 2016, they preferred for you to have a single story at the back, but it's all a case by case basis.
Okay. All right. Excellent. Thank you. And shall we move on to
yes, please.
Another scenario?
Yeah. Absolutely.
All right. So
here we have 5 townhouses on 2 650 square meters of each site, but because they're adjacent, we're able to capture the benefit of 2 and produce 5 townhouses on the site. Whereas with 2 independent sites, you'd only get 2. If you really push, you might get 3 on, but this is a better layout with a better return. A common driveway through the middle, which branches off to the other development, the other townhouses.
Excellent. So it's going to be common driveways for all 5 houses? Is that
That's
right?
right. That's right.
Excellent. Let's move on to another possible development.
So this is just an enhancement of the previous view, where you actually got 6 townhouses on the site. So you've got 2 duplexes, one left and one right, and you've got what they call a cluster in the middle. So the 2 15 square townhouses 3 and 4 are joined together with a fire-rated party wall in the middle, and this is just squeezing a little bit more profit out of the site.
Absolutely. So you can maximize your profit.
Absolutely.
The return from each
and
other.
This again depends on the council and the town planner's skill to get this sort of proposal through.
Excellent. Thanks, John. Let's move on to another one. And in this scenario, can you explain this a bit?
Yes. So this is really pushing the development to the maximum. So you've got a 3 cluster on the left a 3 cluster on the right and a 2 cluster at the back. So effectively, you're squeezing eight apartments or townhouses out of this site, and this is really pushing it to the limit. You really need a good town planner with a good way of presenting to council to get that benefit.
All right, excellent. So that means in this scenario, John, yeah, so what it means is, can we do this in a 650 square meter two lot? So does it all depends on the council to council?
Look, it depends on council to council, but quite often you might find you actually creep out to 700 or 750 square meters. So you wind up between 1,300 square meters and 1,500 square meters site. So look, really, it's a case by case benefit, and you will have to examine every site independently.
Excellent. Shall we move on? Next one. Okay. What's this scenario?
So this is another way of developing and getting an extra building on a site. So you acquire a site with ability to either retain the house and build a new one at the back, or build 2 new townhouses on the site. But you approach the neighbor and say, look, you've got a backyard, you're not using it. Can I have that backyard at a price? I'm willing to pay you what's a reasonable figure for it. And basically you acquire the backside so that you can actually get what they call a dogleg development, where you're getting 2 new townhouses at the back, one on your site and one on your neighbor's site. And it's of course a cash transaction to acquire the site behind this property.
Excellent.
And this is a really easy way of not worrying about getting 2 sites. You just get one site, but see if you can get an option to build behind the neighbor's property.
Excellent. So the driveway could be from the back, or could it be from the front, the neighbor's house as well?
The neighbor may not give you an opportunity to use his driveway because of configuration and other reasons. But if you run a driveway along your site, then there's no reason why you couldn't have a right end bend into the new townhouse behind your neighbor's property.
Excellent. I believe you have to ignore the heading of this slide, but certainly it is called dog leg. Is that right?
It is called a dog leg.
Okay, excellent. So I believe,
or another good word, better word than dog leg, is battle axe.
Battle axe. Okay, excellent. Thanks, John, for that great information. So let's go back into our video.
Thank you.
So I hope welcome back. I hope you have gathered a lot of information from what John explained in the previous screen in regards to a few different sites. So in a case, John, where somebody is struggling to find that perfect site, to 2 sites together, could you help out?
Absolutely. I mean, we've got these sites coming on board all the time, and of course they get taken up. So, but yeah, look, feel free to call us or put an inquiry on our site, and we'll address it, and we'll call you and we'll have a chat, and we'll see how we can help you acquire the type of site you want to acquire.
Excellent. So John and myself and our team is there, and we always consistently get a lot of projects similar to what John has been discussing, and John consults a lot of people in regards to these areas, in regards to if somebody is struggling in regards to the site size, so like certain requirements, you could help out as well.
Absolutely.
Right?
We can discuss all issues about the site and help you move forward with it. So don't be afraid to contact us. We're very reachable, and we'd love to help you.
Excellent. Thanks, John. Thank you very much for attending, and thank you for sharing your knowledge. And I believe you would have gathered a lot of great knowledge from here. You can use this information into developing wealth through property. I hope you're going to visit our website profitrealestate.com.au, as well as you're going to subscribe to the YouTube channel, as well as like our videos and comment, and any problems you have, we are there to help you. Remember that. And I hope to see you again in another video. Thank you.
Thanks for having me, and thanks for watching us.
Thanks, John.
10 times the knowledge, 10 times the wisdom, 10 times the tools. Do you want to profit from real property developments? Visit Profit realestate.com.au. Hit the subscribe button now.